You've been lied to. You were told strength is about how much you can lift, but the real weight is carried in silence, in your mind, in your heart, and every single day people are breaking under it, smiling on the outside while screaming on the inside. Today that ends because the secret to becoming mentally strong is not buried in some ancient book, it's right here in you. You just haven't unlocked it yet. You've been told to chase comfort, that success should feel good, easy, smooth. But what they don't tell you is that comfort is a trap. It's the slow poison that kills potential. Growth, it doesn't live in the soft and safe. It lives in the places you avoid, the hard conversations, the early mornings, the long nights, the sacrifices no one claps for. If you want to become mentally strong, you have to stop chasing the easy way out. Because every time you choose ease over effort, you reinforce weakness. You tell your mind, we don't do hard things. And your mind listens. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. The pain you're avoiding is the exact path to your power. Every struggle, every rejection, every uncomfortable moment, those are not punishments, they are opportunities, invitations, tests of character. When you choose pain over comfort, you don't just build endurance, you build identity. You prove to yourself that you are not fragile, that you can suffer and still move forward, that you can bleed and still believe. Most people stop when it gets tough. The mentally strong, they begin when it gets tough. It's in discomfort that discipline is born. The mind adapts to what you expose it to. You lift a weight, your muscle grows. You face pressure, your mind strengthens. But only if you lean in. Most people flinch, they retreat, they numb out, scrolling, binging, distracting themselves from the very thing that would make them powerful. But discomfort, when embraced, transforms you. It strips away the fake layers, the ego, the excuses, and it leaves behind something real, something solid, something unstoppable. You will never grow if you're only willing to do what feels good. Strength isn't found in what's convenient, it's forged in what's necessary. That workout you skipped because you were tired, that's where strength was waiting. That phone call you avoided because it felt awkward, that's where growth was hiding. That hard decision you pushed off for tomorrow, that's where your next level lived. Comfort delays your life, pain activates it. Pain also reveals what comfort hides. It shows you who your real friends are. It shows you what you truly believe. It exposes the cracks in your character so you can repair them before they collapse you later. When everything is easy, you don't question yourself. You coast. But when life punches you in the gut, that's when you find out what you're made of. The mentally strong don't just survive those moments. They use them. They absorb the pain, process it, and come back sharper, clearer, and more focused. So the next time pain shows up, don't run. Don't reach for the easy way out. Pause, lean in. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? Because inside that discomfort is the next version of you. The stronger version. The focused version. The one who doesn't just wish for strength, but earns it. And that version doesn't live in comfort. That version is built in the fire. There is a constant voice inside your mind. It narrates your every move, judges every mistake, and whispers in the quiet moments when no one else is around. Sometimes it sounds like doubt, sometimes like fear. Sometimes it uses the voices of your past, your parents, your teachers, your critics. But it's always there. Most people don't even realize how much of their life is being shaped by that voice. It tells you who you are, what you can do, what you're worth. And if that voice is left unchecked, It will quietly build a prison around your potential. Mental strength starts the moment you recognize that voice, not as truth, but as a habit you have the power to change. That inner voice wasn't born negative, it was trained. Every rejection, every harsh word, every failure you never healed from, it all fed that voice. And now, it doesn't wait for the world to tear you down. It does the job before the world even tries. It says, you'll never make it, so you don't. It says, you're not good enough, so you don't even try. This is the invisible war that mentally weak people lose every day. Not because they lack talent, but because they never questioned the story in their mind. They mistake that voice for their identity. But mentally strong people, they know it's just a script. And scripts can be rewritten. Rewriting the voice in your head doesn't mean pretending everything is fine or chanting empty affirmations in the mirror. It means listening on purpose. It means catching the lie mid-sentence and choosing to speak truth instead. When your mind says, you always mess things up, you respond, no. I've made mistakes, but I've also grown. When it says, you'll fail like last time, you say, last time taught me how to be better. This isn't about being fake. It's about being fair to yourself. The mentally strong don't let their thoughts bully them. They build a mental standard where truth, growth, and resilience take the lead. Mental strength comes from managing your thoughts like a disciplined leader, not a passive listener. If you don't direct your thoughts, they will direct you, often toward fear, regret, or insecurity. But you are not your thoughts. You are the observer, the editor, the gatekeeper of what gets to stay and what gets replaced. The more often you challenge the old voice, the weaker it becomes. And over time, your internal dialogue changes. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Because you stopped letting your past program your future. Even when life gets loud on the outside, it's your inner voice that determines how you respond. That's why mentally strong people work on their mindset every single day. They read things that elevate their thinking. They hang around people who speak life, not limitation. And they protect their mind like it's sacred ground, because it is. Your mindset is not just part of your success. It is your success. If your mind is against you, nothing else matters. But when it's aligned, focused, and led by strength, no storm can shake you. So remember this, mastering the voice in your head is not a one-time achievement. It's a daily practice, a lifelong conversation. Some days you'll slip. The old voice will sneak back in. But every time you choose a better thought, every time you speak truth over fear, every time you catch yourself and realign, you're building mental strength, quietly, powerfully, permanently. From the time we're kids, we're taught to look outward for validation. A good grade meant a gold star. A compliment meant we were doing something right. We learned early that if we just behaved a certain way, dressed a certain way, spoke a certain way, people would like us. And we carried that lesson into adulthood without ever questioning it. But here's what mentally strong people know. The moment your peace depends on someone else's approval, you've handed them control of your life. You can't lead your life if you're constantly waiting for permission to be yourself. And the truth is, most of the people whose approval you're chasing won't even remember what you did 5 minutes from now. This obsession with approval runs deep. It's not just about wanting to be liked. It's about survival. Deep down, most people fear that if they're not accepted, they'll be abandoned. So they play it safe. They say yes when they mean no. They shrink themselves to avoid judgment. They hide parts of who they are just to fit in. and it works on the surface. But deep inside, it creates a war, a quiet, exhausting battle between who you are and who you pretend to be. The mentally strong are not afraid to be misunderstood, disliked, or even rejected, because they know the price of approval is often authenticity, and they're not willing to trade realness for applause. Living for approval is a full-time job, and a soul-draining one at that. You start curating your life to please others. You say what's popular instead of what's true. You post for likes, not expression. You dress for trends, not self-respect. But no matter how much approval you collect, it's never enough, because the validation you crave from others can only temporarily cover the insecurity you feel within. Mentally strong people break that cycle. They stop asking, "Do they like me?" and start asking, "Do I respect me?" It's a subtle shift, but it changes everything. The moment you stop needing approval, you free up massive amounts of mental and emotional energy. You stop second guessing your every move. You stop living on edge, worried about who will agree or disapprove. You start making decisions based on your values, not the crowd's expectations. You start saying yes to the right things and no to the wrong ones without guilt. That's not rebellion, that's self-trust. And self-trust is one of the rarest and most powerful forms of mental strength in the world today. Because when you trust yourself, you don't need constant reassurance. You become your own source of confidence. This doesn't mean you become cold or stop listening to others. Feedback is important. Relationships matter. But mentally strong people filter feedback through the lens of their values. They know who they are, what they stand for, and where they're going. So they can hear criticism without crumbling. They can face disapproval without losing direction. They don't change just to be accepted. They grow on purpose, not pressure. That kind of mental clarity only comes when you stop giving away your identity to every passing opinion. And here's the truth: no one tells you, not everyone will like you. No matter how nice, talented, or successful you are, someone will always disapprove. That's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reality of life. Trying to win everyone over is a battle you'll never win. But standing firm in who you are, that's a battle you stop having to fight. Because the moment you no longer need approval, you become untouchable, not in arrogance but in peace. And peace is the real power the mentally strong carry wherever they go. Most people spend the majority of their energy trying to control what they were never meant to. They obsess over how others see them, stress about things that already happened, and lose sleep over what might go wrong tomorrow. It's a mental trap, a vicious cycle that leads to burnout, anxiety, and paralysis. Because no matter how hard you try, you can't change other people's actions. You can't rewind time. You can't predict the future. And yet, that's where most minds live. Outside of the present, outside of their power. Mentally strong people don't waste energy like that. They've learned a simple life, changing truth. Focus only on what you can control and let go of the rest. There are only 3 things you truly control in this life: your attitude, your effort, and your response. Everything else is a variable, unpredictable, and often unfair. You can't control if the company hires you, but you can control how prepared you are. You can't control if someone lies to you, but you can control whether you confront it or carry it. You can't control the market, the weather, or the economy, but you can control your mindset when things shift. Mental strength comes from narrowing your focus, removing the noise, the chaos, and the obsession with outcomes. The more you focus on outcomes, the more powerless you feel. But the more you focus on your response, the more powerful you become. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about approaching them with clarity. When you face a challenge, mentally strong people ask one question first: what's within my control right now? That single question brings you out of panic and into purpose. Instead of spiraling into worst case scenarios, you step into action. Instead of blaming, you start building. It doesn't mean things become easy. It means you become effective. Because energy that's directed toward action is energy that moves you forward. Worrying doesn't move you. Complaining doesn't move you. Blaming doesn't move you. Responsibility does. And responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. It means everything is your opportunity. That's a major shift in perspective. Mentally strong people don't need perfect circumstances to stay calm or confident. They've trained themselves to thrive in the middle of chaos by choosing to control what they can. When things go wrong, they pause, breathe, and ask, what now? Not why me? Not who's to blame? Just, what can I do next with what I have? That mindset builds resilience, focus, and emotional freedom. Because the more you live in response mode instead of reaction mode, the less the outside world can shake your internal world. Letting go of what you can't control isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the discipline of choosing peace over pressure. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Life will throw punches you never saw coming. But what makes you mentally strong isn't your ability to predict it all. It's your ability to stay grounded when it happens. You can't stop storms from coming, but you can build the kind of mindset that doesn't drown in them. The storm is outside. Strength is inside, and that gap, the space between what happens and how you respond, is where your real power lives. We all have two buckets in life, one for what we can control and one for what we can't. Most people pour all their time, thought, and emotion into the wrong bucket, and then wonder why they feel overwhelmed, anxious, and exhausted. Mentally strong people flip the formula. They pour themselves fully into the controllables. They don't just react, they respond with intention. And that's what makes them steady in chaos, calm in crisis, and clear in confusion. Not because their life is easier, but because they've mastered where to put their power. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action. They wait for the perfect moment, the right mood, the spark of inspiration that never quite arrives. And when it doesn't, they label themselves lazy, unmotivated, or not ready. But mentally strong people don't live like that. They've learned a powerful truth. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Motivation is inconsistent. It rises and falls like the tide. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It shows up regardless of how you feel. The mentally strong don't rely on mood. They rely on muscle, mental muscle, built through consistent action, even on the days they don't feel like it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the excitement has worn off. Anyone can start strong when energy is high and everything feels fresh. But discipline kicks in when things get hard, when results are slow, when nobody is watching. That's where most people quit, at the first sign of resistance. But not the mentally strong. They know that success doesn't come from doing something once. It comes from doing it daily. They show up early. They stay late. They repeat the boring, unglamorous tasks that no one claps for, because they understand that progress is not built on intensity, it's built on consistency. Motivation is emotional, and emotions are unpredictable. You might feel fired up one day and completely drained the next. If your habits are built on how you feel, your life becomes unstable. You'll chase highs and avoid anything that feels difficult. That's a dangerous pattern because growth often hides in discomfort. Discipline, however, doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" It says, "This is who I am and this is what I do." That mindset creates identity. It rewires your brain to follow through, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. And that's where true mental strength is built, not in the moment of inspiration, but in the moment of resistance. It's easy to scroll through motivational videos, to feel inspired for a moment, to set goals while you're hyped. But none of that means anything without execution, and execution belongs to discipline. The mentally strong understand that dreams don't work unless you do. They don't romanticize the grind, but they respect it. They know that showing up daily, training, studying, working, refining, that's what separates the wishful from the unstoppable. They treat their goals like commitments, not feelings. They don't just hope for the best. They train for it, repeatedly, relentlessly. Discipline also builds trust within yourself. Every time you follow through, even when you didn't feel like it, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, that you keep your word, that you are capable of hard things. That internal confidence becomes your foundation. You no longer need external motivation because you've built internal integrity. You don't need someone to push you. You've become your own driver. Mentally strong people understand this. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's a form of self-respect. It's choosing what you want most over what you want now. And here's the truth: motivation will fade. Discipline will carry you when it does. Life will throw off your rhythm. Distractions will come. Temptations will call. Most hands would go up. But if you've trained yourself to act without needing permission from your feelings, you've already won half the battle. Mentally strong people don't wait to feel ready. They decide to be ready. They don't let their goals depend on their mood. They show up tired, stressed, unmotivated, and they get it done anyway. Not because it's easy, not because they feel like it, but because discipline is who they are. Setbacks are not a sign that you're failing. They're a sign that you're in the fight. The only people who never face setbacks are the ones sitting on the sidelines, too afraid to even try. If you're chasing something meaningful, something that stretches you, you will stumble, you will hit walls, you will be disappointed. That's not weakness. That's life doing what it does best: testing you, shaping you, and forcing you to choose. Will you let this break you, or will you build from it? Mentally strong people don't just bounce back, they bounce forward. They take the hit, then ask, "How do I use this?" Every setback holds information. When something doesn't go your way, when the plan collapses, or when you fail publicly, there's gold hidden inside that pain. But most people are too busy reacting to look for it. They get bitter, they blame, they shut down, they let the experience shrink them instead of sharpen them. But mentally strong people pause, they reflect, they analyze without judgment. They're not afraid to look at what went wrong, not to punish themselves, but to learn. They understand that failure is feedback. It's not the end of the road, it's the map pointing toward a better one. The difference between a mentally strong person and someone who stays stuck is never about talent. It's about response. Anyone can succeed when things are going well. But when the ground shakes, when the opportunity disappears, when the door slams shut, how you respond reveals your real strength. Do you let the failure define you, or do you redefine the failure? Mentally strong people use rejection as redirection. They turn losses into lessons. They don't just suffer, they study their suffering. They look pain in the face and ask, what can I take from this that will make me stronger, wiser, better? There's a point in every setback where you have a choice to stay down or rise up. And that moment, that decision, becomes your turning point. Mentally strong people are fueled by those moments. Not because they enjoy the pain, but because they understand its purpose. They know that adversity is the ultimate forge. It burns away weakness, excuses, and entitlement. It reveals what you're really made of. The more setbacks you survive, the more belief you build. Not because someone told you you're strong, but because you proved it to yourself. And no one can take that away from you. Setbacks also bring humility. They remind you that you're not invincible, not perfect. And that's a good thing, because humility keeps you teachable. Teachable people grow. And growth is the ultimate revenge against failure. Mentally strong people don't see falling as failure. They see quitting as failure. So they keep going. Even if they're limping, even if they're bleeding, even if no one else believes in them. Because they've turned pain into purpose. And once you learn how to do that, setbacks stop being threats. They become fuel, fire, a reason to rise higher than before. People often think strength means never falling down. But real strength is measured by how many times you get back up. How many times you push forward when everything in you wants to give up. How many times you rebuild after being broken. That's the secret mentally strong people live by. They know that every setback, every detour, every painful moment, it all becomes part of their advantage if they choose to use it. They don't avoid setbacks. They outgrow them. And each time they do, they become a little more dangerous, a little more focused, a little more unstoppable. Your peace is the foundation of everything you do. Without it, even the greatest achievements feel hollow and the loudest victories ring empty. Yet, in a world that never slows down, where distractions, negativity, and chaos constantly invade your mind, peace feels like a luxury few can afford. But here's the truth: mentally strong people know peace is not a prize to be won after success. It's the starting point of strength. It's the fortress you build around your mind and heart, and protecting it is the most important work you'll ever do. Many people hand over their peace like it's disposable, trading it for temporary thrills, approval, or convenience. They tolerate toxic relationships because they don't want to be alone. They scroll endlessly through social media, letting comparison and envy chip away at their calm. They agree to obligations that drain them, say yes when they want to say no, and sacrifice their well-being to avoid conflict. Each small surrender chips away at the fortress. But mentally strong people understand that peace is not negotiable. It's sacred ground, and once you give it away, it's incredibly hard to get back. Protecting your peace starts with boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls designed to shut people out. They're gates that decide who and what gets to enter your mental space. Saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary. Choosing silence over argument isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Mentally strong people don't let every voice crowd their head or every drama steal their calm. They decide what deserves their attention and what doesn't. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to be dragged into every storm. Peace is a choice to stay centered amid the noise. Technology and social media are some of the biggest thieves of peace today. The constant ping of notifications, the endless stream of opinions, and the curated images of perfection create a battlefield for your mind. Mentally strong people are intentional about their consumption. They know when to disconnect, when to detox, and when to step away. They guard their time online like they guard their energy in real life. Because peace doesn't thrive in chaos. It grows in quiet, in focus, in presence. The moment you let the noise control you, you lose your power. Your inner dialogue is another battleground for peace. Negative self-talk, rumination, and unresolved anger can destroy calm faster than external chaos. Mentally strong people practice self-compassion and forgiveness. They don't let grudges fester or let anxiety run unchecked. They engage in practices, whether meditation, journaling, or simple breathing, that quiet the mind and soothe the soul. Protecting peace means tending to your inner world as carefully as you do the outer world. Because the most important fortress you'll ever build is the one inside your head. Lastly, protecting your peace means prioritizing what truly matters. It means choosing presence over distraction, choosing meaningful connection over superficial interaction, choosing rest over relentless hustle. Mentally strong people don't chase every opportunity or answer every call. They know that sometimes protecting peace means saying no to progress in order to say yes to sanity. Because at the end of the day, mental strength isn't about how much you can handle, it's about how well you can protect the calm that fuels your journey. Peace isn't just a feeling, It's the soil in which strength, resilience, and joy take root and grow. You don't need to be born with strength. You build it day by day, thought by thought, choice by choice. You don't need to fake a smile anymore. You don't need to chase people anymore. You don't need to fear failure anymore. Because mental strength isn't about what you've survived, it's about what you decide. And right now, you decide who you become.